Fiddler Club is a private city club in the heart of Center City, designed as a third space for the modern city dweller, equal parts professional, social, and cultural hub. Located across from 30th Street Station, there's a boutique hotel with 14 thoughtfully designed rooms, perfect for members, friends, and family. And membership gets you access to dining, events, and a full fitness suite with an indoor pool, climbing wall, and spa services. Fiddler Club's work and innovation hub, ideal for entrepreneurs, remote workers, and teams of colleagues. And when you're thinking about work, there's everything from shared desks to private offices and boardrooms. Learn more about Fiddler Club becoming your third space, where work, community, and leisure intersect. Get more details at fiddlerclub.com/CityCast membership. City Council has approved a bill now waiting to be signed into law by Mayor Parker that would fine owners $2,000 if their dog is in a public park, playground, or rec center where there's a sign posted banning animals, whether your dog is on a leash or not. I'm speaking with Johnny Goodtimes, a Philly dog owner and CityCast Philly contributor, about how this could be enforced, the city's dog culture, and whether politicians are just barking up the wrong tree. It's Monday, June 23rd. I'm Trenae Nuri, and here's what Philly's been growling about. Johnny, tell me about your dog. What's its name? What type of dog is it?
So I have a Siberian Husky named Biscuit, and he's about 5 years old. And we spend a lot of time out and about in the city, which, as anybody who has a Husky can relate.
So he's big.
Yep, he's big and he's very high energy, and he wants to be outside 24/7.
Okay, so where does Biscuit like to walk, or which park does he like?
So we spend pretty much every day at the Schuylkill River Dog Park. We're there pretty much every morning. And then sometimes in the afternoon, I'll walk him in the other direction and take him to Seeger Dog Park over around like 11th and South.
Nice. You said the Schuylkill River Park, which is actually one of 8 dog parks that are managed by Parks and Rec. Okay, I am not a dog owner. I love the dogs, but I don't have one. So I want to know, what are your thoughts on this bill? It just passed in City Council, now waiting for the mayor's signature to create these quote unquote animal-free zones in parks where signs would be posted at the parks, at playgrounds, at rec centers to keep dogs out. What are your thoughts?
I think that this being Philly, it's going to be really hard to enforce. People here take very seriously the idea of freedom. And I think that people are going to mostly probably ignore them and continue as they were before. I also think that when you look at, there's signage all over the city about not cleaning up after your dog is a $300 fine.
Right.
Well, I've never met a single person who ever was fined for that. So I think a lot of it's just sort of city council pretending like they're doing something that is going to have zero impact on anything.
Okay, so you brought up so many different things I want to get into. Let's start about the enforcement issue. Like you just said, like, who is actually going to hand out these like $2,000 tickets because your dog went to a park? Some say that, like, what is a sign actually going to do? Do you think that even though there are like curb your dog, like the poop signs, do you feel like those help in any way?
I don't know. I don't think they make much of an impact. I mean, I'm definitely somebody that cleans up after my dog, and I'm definitely somebody that's super annoyed at people who don't. And well, I wish that we spent a little bit less time, with the PPA, getting your car within 15 seconds of being in a loading zone, and maybe move some of those guys over to dog poop enforcement. Yeah, I'd be all about that. I think that would be, we could bring in the same amount of revenue, but we'd actually be, solving a bigger problem, I think. But yeah, I don't foresee there really being much enforcement. The PPA is really the only group locally that actually enforces what the signs say, for better and for worse.
Yeah, it would kind of be like the Paw Patrol of Philly. The council members that introduced this bill, they argue that, this is the reason for these animal free zones is, because of health related aspects. It's kind of ironic that like dogs can pee in parks or wherever, but there's not a lot of like public bathrooms for humans.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly should have a lot more. I think that it's kind of ridiculous that we don't. I mean, that's something where there's no question that we should have a lot more public restrooms throughout the city. I mean, everybody kind of learns whatever bookstore they can, they can run into. I'm not
Truly.
naming any names, but you kind of get to know the places that you can sneak into. But it's certainly a public health issue that it's such a difficult thing to do. That should certainly be a much higher priority to me than what they're doing with dogs. I understand you can rub your head and pat your belly at the same time. Maybe not our city council, but I think a lot of I think in some places in America that they can do both. But in this case, I just don't see it as being a thing that's going to be enforced. So why are we wasting our time with it?
All right, we've got more on this issue after the break.
This episode is brought to you by Temptations Cat Treats. Your cat will come running for the perfectly irresistible Temptations Creamy Puree and Temptations Lickable Spoon Cat Treats. The best time to feed lickable cat treats to your cat is anytime. Feed by hand for a playful moment, in a bowl for a creamy treat, or as a topper to make mealtime fun. Visit temptationstreats.com to learn more.
We all know Philadelphia is a revolutionary city full of American firsts. But did you know that Philly is home to America's first penitentiary? It started as a bold 19th century experiment to reimagine the criminal justice system in America. And it continues today with Eastern State. Eastern State is a nonprofit dedicated to deepening our collective understanding of the criminal justice system. On the grounds of Eastern State Penitentiary Historic Site, open to the public every day from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., tours, exhibits, and programs illuminate the powerful history and legacy of this iconic Philadelphia landmark. And the Eastern State Center for Justice Education, a nationally recognized voice in criminal justice education, serves as a catalyst for workforce development and a connection point that provides online and in-person opportunities for engagement, dialogue, and impact. Visit easternstate.org to learn more, plan your visit, and get involved. Discover, discuss, share at Eastern State. Okay, so do you agree or don't agree that Mayor Parker should sign this bill?
Trenae, I wish I could tell you that I I thought it would make a difference. I don't think it makes a difference whether she does or doesn't. I think it's a lot of smoke about not much. I think that what is it going to mean? It's going to mean, I don't know, they're going to spend more money on putting up signs that everybody's going to ignore. So I would say she probably shouldn't. I think with the problems we're facing as a city, this one should be real low on the priority level. I mean, again, I get it. Some people don't have control of their dogs, and that's a real problem, and I know that people with kids want somewhere to take their kids, that they're not going to be scared that a dog's going to come, running around. And they're also not scared about where the dog's pooped or peed in the last hour. And so I certainly have no problem with the bill. I just think if you're not going to enforce it, then what's the point?
Mm-hmm. I agree with you about the enforcement. Like, how's this going to work unless we set up literally like a Paw Patrol situation? But I feel like the bill doesn't actually go far enough and address other things. Like, I really hate to see dogs or animals in a restaurant setting or a food establishment, like a grocery store. I don't think it's sanitary. I think it's disruptive to establishments meant for people. And like, I think you hit a little bit of it, but this like belief of this like entitlement because you're a dog owner, more so than if you're a non-dog owner, to kind of like move out the way for the dog. And like, I feel like that is a culture in Philly that sometimes I can't like really like, I'm not able to talk about it a lot, but it pisses me off. Like, what is this like entitlement? You know what I mean? I have nothing wrong with the dog. It's the people.
Right. Right. Yeah, I can certainly understand. I don't take my dog into Walgreens or into the grocery store or whatever. And I can certainly understand why people get annoyed by that. I think for dog owners, sometimes it's, I need to take him for a walk and I have to shop. And it's like, I only have 45 minutes, right? So it's like, I think sometimes that's going to be the situation. And then I also think you've got this idea of, service dogs, which obviously none of us have an issue with, but there's also lots of people that want dogs, for their anxiety or whatever. And it's like
the emotional support animals.
Right. And it's like, well, I think that kind of thing gets abused a bit and people sort of make that their excuse to bring the dog into wherever. I think there are very few people that need to take their dog into Walgreens. And I might get some pushback for saying that, but I think most people can make it in and out of a pharmacy without needing emotional support. So I think that there is a line, and I think it's always, it's where do you draw it? Where do you, like you said, you get pissed off, but you don't want to make a scene at the grocery store, right? So it's like, where do you draw that line? What are the rules? And they kind of vary depending on the establishment. And I think that's just one of those things where it's life in the city. There's always going to be things that annoy us, and we kind of have to put them on a scale of which things we're actually going to speak up about and which ones we're just going to roll our eyes and keep going about our day.
All right, we've got more on this story after the break. Hey, CityCast Philly listeners. If you're thinking about getting a new car, now is the time, and Jeff D'Ambrosio is the place. With all the talk about tariffs and rising prices, Jeff is going all out this June with employee pricing, Jeff's exclusive discounts, and zero tariff impact on any vehicle in stock. You can save up to $15,000 on a brand new Jeep, Ram, or Dodge, and drive with monthly payments as low as $199. He's the #1 Jeep and Ram dealer in the Mid-Atlantic, with the biggest inventory and a customer service experience that's second to none. You'll be welcomed by a friendly team, and even Jeff himself stops by to offer honest advice. Whether it's a Jeep Grand Cherokee, Ram 1500, Dodge Charger EV, or a luxury Alfa Romeo, Jeff D has it all. Check it out at gojeffauto.com. Then head to Jeff D'Ambrosio Auto Group, the #1 destination in Downingtown. Nobody treats you better, nobody saves you more. Now listen, I love the animals, but we definitely put more respect on dogs than we do rats. You know what I mean? And like, I see dogs as our neighbors, but what do they need more of while living in Philly? What types of services would you want city council members to understand about Biscuit?
I don't know. We just had Schuylkill Dog Park just got renovated, so I'm pretty thrilled with what the city's done. I mean, I do wish there was more enforcement of the dog litter situation. At the same time, this morning on the way to the dog park, guy said, "Hey, forgot my bag. Do you have an extra?" And I did. And I've had people bail me out in that situation too, right? So it's like
community building.
Right, it is. And at the same time, it's like, geez, did that guy deserve $300 fine because he left his bag at home? It's like, where do you draw the line on stuff like that, right? So it's just one of those things where it's tricky. And I think the city one thing I get annoyed by is sort of pretending like you're doing something when you're not doing anything. So if you're not actually ever going to enforce a single ticket for dog poop, then you're not ever going to enforce a ticket for dogs in a park they shouldn't be in. And in which case, what are we doing spending this time, energy, and effort making a big deal out of this, or even making it a bill? I feel like it's kind of a do nothing bill.
How do we solve the poop issue, Johnny? If I see another piece of poop, I am going to crash out.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I certainly get it, and I've certainly stepped in it, and it has ruined more than one day, I will say.
Yeah.
So I wish I had an answer. I think, again, if you enforce the law the way it's written, a problem would take care of itself, but that would take an investment. And it's really hard, right? Like, even if you do invest in it, you have people walking around the city. It's not like a car. It's not like you can plug in the license plate and know whose Toyota Camry that is. You see a pile of dog poop and, you're not going to be able to identify the dog. Technology hasn't reached that level yet, but I don't know what you can really truly enforce unless you had a system that's more or less a dog poop cleaning system is probably going to be more realistic than a $300 fine.
What if there was cameras around and they caught you?
Yeah, I mean, if we want to move into Blade Runner, but for dog poop, where futuristic technology allows us to clamp down on the perpetrator, I suppose that is a possibility. But I think that would be, again, really tough, even if you got a guy at Command Central checking all the cameras for pooping dogs. I think it's going to be a long shot to then chase the person down who had just committed that crime.
I don't know, Johnny. I don't know. It could happen. Got to get serious with these dogs and this poop.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what's your pet peeve as a dog owner?
I don't know. I always feel like I'm the pain in the ass for the other person because I have a husky and he's filled with energy, and sometimes other dogs meet him and they're like, "Whoa, this is intense." And I'm like, "Hey, sorry, he's nice. He's just a lot."
I've heard that. Oh, he's nice thing. He doesn't bite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I don't know. I mean, beyond the dog poop thing, the other thing that we haven't even talked about that really sets me off. Okay, so here's my pet peeve, is the people that pick it up and then just drop the bag. They're the people that I want, like, federal agents to, like, jump out of a van and tackle. Like,
but why? I don't understand.
Right. Like, why? Why did you bother picking it up?
Okay, and they leave the green bag just laying around.
Yeah, like they'll throw it like under like a tree. And I'm just like, what was the point? All you did was create more litter. Like, at least the poop's biodegradable. Like, it's astounding to me. And then if somebody drops one bag like under a tree, the next 6 people are going to drop their bag under the tree. So maybe there's your answer to how we enforce this. We plant a bag under a tree and then just prepare ourselves with a video camera and just tackle the next person that does it. Because that's what happens all the time. One person does it, and then I walk by that tree the next day, there's 6 bags under there. So I think that's our enforcement technique, is to plant bags of dog poop under the trees. Because that's the thing that really sets me off, is just seeing these bags everywhere. Now, I don't know if there's a way, and part of it's part of the city's problem of there's not trash cans anywhere, right? Like,
right.
They want to solve the trash problem, but they don't give us anywhere to throw trash, So that's part of the problem too, is that it's really, I don't want to get anybody off the hook. If you have a dog, clean up after your freaking dog, period. But I also think it would be more effective if people had more places to dump their bag of dog poop.
All right. Johnny, thank you so much for chatting with me about potential animal-free zones.
You got it. Glad to be here.
Johnny Goodtimes has a new Substack, jgoodtimes.substack.com, where he does interviews and trivia and tells stories about his days as a dolphin trainer in Hawaii and server in Philly. Check that out. That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. Let us know what you think about animal-free zones. Call or text us at 215-259-8170. We'll try to play or read your comments on a later episode. Share this episode with a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter, Hey Philly, to learn more about what else Philly's talking about. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye. Johnny Goodtimes has a new Substack.
It's not a dog poop themed Substack. I just want to let people know that. This is
Okay.
It's a special occasion today.